Welcome back, Earthlings. I am A.M. Grabelny, and this is the live coverage that we are doing today, all day, at the AWS Summit here in New York City. Dev advocate and a host here. They keep letting me come back.
Some reason.
Their mistake. Adrian, how are you?
I am Adrian, as AM rudely interrupted me. Tried to tell you who I am.
Sorry.
But it's okay. That's AM, and I've come to love it. My name is Adrian San Miguel. I'm a partner enterprise architect here at AWS, working with technology partners, but we are joined by a very special guest. So, guest, will you mind please tell us what your name is, what you do, and who your favorite superhero is?
Oh, great. So my name is Bimal Gachar. I'm a storage specialist solution architect. And my superhero is the Superman itself, because when we grew up, that was one of the things that you see back home in India.
Okay.
From a comics and the movie perspective. So, yeah.
Very, very cool.
That Superman looks a lot like Clark Kent.
He sure does.
Just saying.
Can't put my finger on it, exactly understand what makes the persona of somebody look so different. Are you telling us that you're a Superman or Clark
Is suicide coming out?
No, please don't. We don't have time for that. We're not here for that. Well, Demo, what are we talking about today? I understand we may be talking about something cool that just launched.
That is correct. We're going to talk today about S3 Metadata and some of the new things that we launched just yesterday. So our customers have been like one of the challenge that our customer face is like they are storing lots of data on Amazon S3 and they want to make it searchable. In order to do that, they were building complex systems in order to store the state of the metadata, and these systems, as they grow, they become very time consuming to manage, very expensive, and most important, it takes away the time from the developers, from the engineering people to maintain that.
Everything you just said kind of is exactly like AM. Becomes expensive to manage, very difficult, unwieldy.
I tell you what, I can't build a system that isn't complex. I don't have that capability. Everything I put out is going to be complex.
I'm
a complex person. We're talking live inventory tables, yeah?
Yes, we are.
That is
okay.
correct.
All right. So instead of having to build this yourself, it's now a feature. What type of, give us some examples here. Like, what are people storing as metadata in these live inventory tables?
Yeah, so what happened is that back in January, when we launched S3 Metadata, it allowed to customers to kind of gather information for new objects and updates that are happening within the buckets, right? So that's the first thing we did. We simplified that for our customers. They don't have to manage this. We are providing this more automated way. They can focus on creating the value. Now, yesterday what we launched was live inventory table. What this allows you to do is that now you can go back to all of your existing objects that are there in the bucket. So now you can take a look at your everything that you have on S3. And once you turn this feature on, it will start collecting the metadata. Now, there are three types of metadata that are available within the S3 metadata itself. It can be the metadata that is generated by the system, meaning let's say when the object was uploaded or the modified date, what storage class it is. Then it can have a user metadata. So, for example, when customers are uploading
fields,
like tags, customers use object tags that, here's my project. They might supply user-defined tags. So those are also included in that. And then there can be other information like state changes in terms of what kind of updates that has happened to the object. Somebody added it, somebody deleted it, those things. So all those three things are available within S3 metadata, like journal tables as well as live inventory tables.
So, I'm not a data practitioner myself by trade, more the software engineering side. But it sounds to me like this is very deeply involved with data discovery, right? So if I'm trying to use a data set, knowing which data set to pull from, the metadata becomes vitally important, especially like I don't need an outdated data set. This data set hasn't been updated in, months, right? I need something that was updated, later than that, or whatever I'm defining as well.
Something equally important, and something that many of us that have had to build and manage these sorts of systems. Where did you go put it? Is it in this DynamoDB table? Did you put it in state the database? Is it in your caching layer? Go find it. Where taking out the need to go and do discovery is huge. It cannot be understated, Bimal.
That is correct, and that's the exact challenge. We want our customers to spend more time in kind of extracting the value of the data itself, right? Rather than managing this complex system. So we want to simplify that. And that's what S3 Metadata allows. Now, customer has these two tables, like a journal table and live inventory table. And they can use that to get the insights that we just talked about. So think about like projects. Like I take a lot of pictures of my kids. And like, let's say I just came back from Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado, right? So I can tag my, pictures with that kind of a trip, that Colorado trip or something. And next day, in a year from now, when I'm looking for pictures, I can search those objects by that tag. And same thing can happen with the organizations that are, saving millions and billions of objects across the buckets. How do you make those data sets searchable? And use it for analytics, use it for the AI and machine learning use cases, and get more value out of the data. And this is pretty huge for our customers.
Now, I want to see it.
Yeah.
Can we see it?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, and as we pull that up, we'll get your screen up here in just a moment. I want to ask as well, it sounds like if you're managing that much metadata, keeping it updated or even creating it can be a challenge. Is there anything that can help with generation of this metadata?
Absolutely. So what our customer wanted was that they first of all wanted an automated way of extracting the custom, all this metadata, right? And that's what S3 Metadata provides. That was the first thing that the customers were looking for. The second thing was that they want kind of a seamless integration with all of their entire, all the objects that they have, existing objects plus the new objects. And they wanted more of a manage. They did not want to manage these tables. Right. They wanted to simplify all that. And the fourth was to make it queryable. So all these metadata is available through Apache Iceberg tables.
Oh, okay.
So you can use your favorite query engine in order to, look at that data in several different ways. And finally, the most important one is also like doing this at scale matters, right? And that's what the feature simplifies. Okay. And I will walk you through in terms of how simple it is to get started, right? So
yeah, we've got your metadata tab pulled up on your bucket.
Yeah. So let me put the full screen on, right? Go. So what I have a bucket here, and this bucket has several different thousands of objects here. And in order to get started, now this metadata tab was available since January when we first announced this. Now, all you do here is to get started is to start with the create metadata configuration. And there are some new things that I will walk you through. So the first is I talked about journal table, right? And so journal tables, when you create the metadata configuration, this is something that is enabled at that time. Now, you can specify the encryption type, how you want to encrypt your data. And if you don't select one, we would encrypt anyways, right? We will do the default encryption, which is SSA S3. Then the new feature that we introduced here was record expiration. And this is also one of the asks that we had heard from our customers, that now the journal tables has got all the updates, like, what any new objects get added, anything get deleted, maybe you updated metadata. So those all records are there. So how do you kind of maintain what you just need, right? Instead of having all that data records for you, because it will grow. So with this announcement, now customers can enable that. So instead of having not records expire, you could say that I only want to keep it for 7 days or 30 days.
No more pruning jobs, no more scheduled tasks, no more Lambda function to go kick off to go do the maintenance for you, or even remember to try to go do that for you. That's I like the lazy ops guy and lazy sysadmin in me loves and appreciates this.
That is, yes, and that was pretty huge from our customers. That was a big, one of the requests that we heard. The other thing that we added is the live inventory table. So this is optional when you set up the configuration, but it's but this feature is what would allow to get all your existing object and make it available in a table that is updated.
That's the queryable side.
Both of them are queryable. Oh, you can query journal, and I will show you that as well in the demo. And so again, you can specify this, and once you create it, right, that's it. At that point onwards, a couple of things happen. As just to going back to your point, how do we simplify this for a customer? Well, first and foremost, we create there's a table bucket that gets created in your account. Right, so this is managed table bucket, right? So it is in the customer account, but it is created by the service itself, right? Okay. When you enable this for the first time, so in the region it would get created, and it will also create like a namespace for you under which it is stored. And as you can see, it will start once I start this.
Hey, Bimo?
Yeah.
Can we get a quick little zoom in on that, please?
Sure.
Yeah, no worries. And while that's happening, chat, let us know if you're using S3 Metadata today. And if not, I really want to understand why.
You want to understand why people aren't using all of the things we've got.
That's the reason. It's the reasons why not that helps make the thing better. And feedback is a gift. Positive, negative, it's still something. We absolutely want to hear it. Bim, I'm sure you appreciate that.
And also, if they're using it, we would love to hear about that too. What are the use cases that you're using it for?
And as I told you earlier, when you put the survey feedback in, I only accept positive affirmation. For me, the products, you can say whatever you want. For me, just positive.
Just positive.
Bimmel, go ahead.
Excellent.
Sorry.
No, this is great. So now, once I start creating the configuration, as you can see, the configuration is already active. So from this point onwards, any changes in terms of any like puts that you do, updates or deletes, that will get recorded in this journal table. And it is queryable. You can query it, and we'll do that too. At the same time, as you can see, there's a live inventory table that's a new table that that we added yesterday. Is in a state called backfilling. What it is doing at this point is that it's going out and looking at all the existing objects in this bucket, and is going to collect that information and provide it in the live inventory table.
Okay.
And this is also queryable, so now customers can use this for any of the use cases.
Nice.
So now once this is there, we can start looking at it. Now this table itself, it will take some time because the backfilling can take time based on how many objects you have right in your bucket.
Yeah.
So it can take minutes to hours based on the
And
number.
for this live demo, we're going to sit and wait and watch, right? Yeah.
No, I wish.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
So
We have
for
a better
the
way.
next hour and a half, you'll be watching backfilling.
No, we like to call this the magic of TV or live stream, as it were. So I'm
What's
sure
TV?
It is according to somebody by the name, I believe, Richard Boyd. He called it an antiquated viewing device.
Nice.
Something to that effect. But for the sake of argument, we had something cooked before. Let's jump into it.
You've already got it. You've already got it backfilling.
Now what as simple as that. So this table was already created. Is with a one click, I can go there and I can start querying the records. So and there are some pre-populated queries that we have added. Also to note here that if you're doing for the first time in your account, you have to enable the integration, which is a single click as well. So we simplify all that for you. And there's a blog out there that will get you started. But let's talk about querying because that's the most important part. Like, how do I use this? So in this case, I just have some records that are already built into this, from a table that already exists, and I will show you in terms of what kind of fields that are there. You can see these are all the create events that has occurred on this bucket, right? Since the journal table was created. So this is the journal table that we are looking at. And this is the inventory table also. It would have similar records as well. Now, the best part of this, that how do I use this, right? In terms of like, what can customers do with it? So let's say you are a customer and you want to know that which objects in my table, right? They are like not in, they do not have a KMS encryption because maybe that's your policy. Well, I can run a query now on my inventory table, and it would give me a list of those objects. And as you can see, these objects has got an encryption type SSE S3, but if the organization wants a KMS, they can find that. Same kind of query can be run for finding out what storage class you have. So again, these are all the use cases where you want to know what is in your bucket, what do you have in your data sets, right? So this is also pretty important use case that we see where customers are looking to cost optimize. They want to know, and there are other tools to do that, but this simplifies it.
Bimmel, this is in the live table inventory, right? Our inventory table.
Live inventory table, yes.
What type of data is in that journal table?
Yeah, so the difference is that the journal table has got all the updates after you enable it.
Okay.
It would have creates, it would have any deletes, or any kind of updates of metadata. A live inventory table would have just the present state of your objects.
Okay.
Right? And it is updated periodically. So from whatever that point in time in snapshot, it will show you what's there in your table.
Do you see customers with use cases that join those two data sets?
Yes, you can, because the inventory tables are updated periodically, right? So like a hour, let's say about an hour. So if you want more real time, then you have to do a coalesce on the journal side and then combine the journal and the inventory table to look at the more real-time, near real-time kind of view of what's in the bucket.
Super helpful. Thank you.
No, it's a great question.
So question for you, Bimal.
Yeah.
So now we have both S3 inventory and S3 metadata live inventory. When should I use what?
Yeah. So journal is always enabled by default, right? When you enable metadata configuration, you have to do that. Journal would tell you what kind of activity is happening within your bucket.
Okay.
Inventory table is more used for, the queries I just ran, like KMS, right? What objects got deleted? Or maybe I want to find certain types of objects. So for example, let's say I wanted to run a query that in last 6 hours, what did I delete, right? What got deleted? I can run that query from the journal side because journal would record all the deletes. And it showed me that I deleted such and such, object, and here's the timestamp when that was received. Now, going back to your question, how do I use the inventory table? So in this table, what I have done is that in this bucket, I have got objects which has got tags, like let's say all the countries and what's the favorite dish there. So I can find out, I'm looking at my data set and I'm trying to discover, what are objects that are associated with this particular project or tags that I can use that. And that's where the inventory tables can come in very handy, right? It's looking at your entire bucket and is providing you whatever you're searching for, a custom metadata or the user metadata.
So this really comes to mind and scratches the other side of my brain. But depending on who you ask,
how many sides of that brain you got?
I was about to say, depending on who you ask, it's only one, and it's a sphere. But I like to imagine my brain as a block. So on the left side of the block is where my old ops inventory or ops auditing hat would live. Back many years ago when I first started, I was an IT systems auditor or security auditor, and being able to prove that you're doing the thing that you say that you're doing is always huge, especially with customers' posture, with aligning with different policies, different frameworks, etc. Being able to show an auditor an example live in real time, hey, this is how we're doing our metadata tracking, here's the proof of it. There's probably nothing more powerful than handing somebody that.
Adrian, that's called plausible deniability.
But when you can prove it, it is an admission that you're doing the right thing.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't need to know that.
Yes, you do always do the right thing, but I digress.
Yeah. No, I think that auditing and governance is a classic use case for this, right? In terms of managing, like knowing what's there in the buckets. But at the other side, from a business side, reusing the data sets is even more important. And I didn't mention this, but these are all S3 tables, right? They are Apache Iceberg tables underneath. Now, if you have custom metadata for your objects, you can combine the two. So there's a lot of capability here in terms of how customers can expand this for different scenarios. Let's say I'm a healthcare company and I'm doing a drug discovery and I'm storing certain sort of information about a molecule, right? And it's tagged certain way. And next drug comes in, and I want to go back and extract all the relevant information about that molecule from my existing data sets. I can run these queries to do that. So that's kind of it goes back to the whole point about how can I derive more value from my data, right? Not just know what's in there in my buckets from an object properties and object metadata that is really important from a governance perspective, but other things.
Something that struck me too, a feature that you mentioned as we're setting it up, was the expiration field. And you said a lot of people were asking for that. Can you tell me more? Because this is not my world, obviously.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about what are generally customers setting to expire? Like why were they asking?
Well, yeah, why? I think that's a great question. So let's say you have a bucket and there's a lot of addition is happening, a lot of deletes are going on, and a lot of updates are going on. Now you may need to, as you're going back from a governance audit use case, you only want to look at last 10 days or 15 days or 30 days, right? If you don't have that, then your table is going to grow for a long time, and the cost will go up. So in order to kind of help with that, right now I can set that expiration to 7 days because my audit requirements only to look for 7 days.
Got it.
That's where that expiration record expiration feature is really helpful.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yes, it does.
Okay. So, Bimal, do you have anything else to show us?
Yes. I just talked about all the SQL queries, which is always fun to watch, right? All those text and records.
Yeah.
But since it's in Athena and it's these are integrated with all the AWS Analytics service, so you can run queries through EMR, right? but also you can integrate with QuickSight. So here, I'm kind of a visual person.
Okay.
So what I did was that I created a kind of dashboard to show what's in my bucket, right? So for example, I have a project called Tampa. All the pictures that I took for Tampa, where are they residing? Well, I have two buckets. One is a pre-processed, so let's say my raw pictures, and then one is the finished. So I can take a look at kind of my footprint of a project across the two bucket. And I can also kind of drill down to, I can create this kind of, views that, okay, my Tampa project, well, here's the, bucket that I'm using, how much space is occupying, like in terms of size, in terms of different kind of states. And I can do the same thing for the activity that you just talked about for the journal, like what kind of activity is happening within my journal, create deletes. Overall, what I wanted to take away is that you have a visual component here with QuickSight. So because the data is available in an S3 Apache Iceberg table, you can query it with SQL, you can visualize it, use it in multiple different ways for multiple different use cases. Go create value out of your data.
Gotta love choice.
Absolutely.
And right now, we have the choice to come back in just a few minutes with more content for you. Bimal, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Bimal.
Go out, turn that on. Get that live table inventory going. We'll see you just a second.